So this is just a quick word of insight that I'm just, capturing so that I don't lose sight of it. This part of this is inspired by the sermon I heard from Steve Berger this morning. Talked about Mark 4, parable of the sower, seeds falling on good soil. Then you have the rocks, the thorns, the path with the crows that eat them up. You have the rocky road. You have the thorns that choke. I believe those are the three camps. And I just know that God is going to establish my steps. I pray to God that He not just makes his path straight, but that He establishes those paths. But I also have to, like the way Steve was talking about the word establish, establishing the word so that it takes root. That's also important. I think a lot of times so here's the revelation. I think a lot of times we ask for God to establish our steps upon the soil. But I feel like we also have to know what needs to be underneath that soil, because I don't want to pray. I don't want to ask God to establish my steps if I'm not also praying that He will establish His word. There is that metaphor, the light picture, lamp to my feet. That element of knowing the word and being able to keep it in a place where you can reference it anytime, under any circumstance, situation. It's not like literal hiding. It's more that you are in the active practice of being still with the Lord, abiding with the Lord. And at least to me, that's when I think about, I'm going to hide God's word as a lamp to my feet. So I'm going to cultivate that which activates the light within. But there's also you could hear the word, even start to do it, but it doesn't linger or last. There's something that doesn't stick, or it doesn't take effect, or we abandon it. And I think that that's where it's like you got to pray that He'll establish a root system, which is really a thirst for the word. And just, when you feel like you're not really, I'm hungry, but I'm so hungry that I don't even realize I'm hungry. I'm so malnourished. Sometimes it's more, not so much we're starving, but we just are malnourished. We've let ourselves get to a malnourished place. But we've lost that feeling, like almost like a numbness. Like there's certain nerves that are numb. It's like we don't even know that we're starving. And I think for me, the conviction is, I've been in my Bible app, I think almost 100 of the last 101 days. Like I've been on a streak that's hit triple digits recently, and I only missed one day, but it's bite-sized, and I'm almost hesitant to get too deep outside. Like probably only a handful of those days did I really go deep past 15 minutes or so, where I had Bible studied. And then another handful of times where I was in it, but I was writing, I was studying, and that was the vehicle into, really absorbing it. So really you're talking about a tithe, I think roughly 10% of my biblical exposure over the past 3.5 months has, have I really let the word go deep into me. So I think when we think about God establishing His plans, purposes in our life, day-to-day basis, yes, it makes sense to pray, establish your way as in your pathway upon the soil, the stepping stones for me to walk, and I don't need to know where it's going. I just need to be committed to and willing to follow the first step. But also what is underneath is important, because that's where the good soil comes in. So it's the horizontal meets the vertical. I'm a grid guy, I think, transactionally. So coordinates help, and being able to see the math, like the XYZ plane of Scripture. That is why I'm cutting this. Just kind of a friendly courtesy PSA announcement. If you're ever praying and you find yourself using the word establish, make sure you use it both ways. That's all I got. Peace.